runs up behind her and tries to grab her, but she quickly turns around and blasts it apart. The woman runs off and Skynet's narration returns. Danger now extreme. Extensive property damage acceptable. You fired a missile at the building! I can't get over this. Why is a missile considered small potatoes? Well, because we had a giant robot that shoves its hand through the wall. I love how nonchalant the woman is about this too, despite the fact that a giant robot arm is coming through the building. God, I hate those big ones. Giant robots, I am so put off by that. Time machine in it, which our plucky heroine quickly runs to and starts discarding all her clothes. Knowing Frank, he probably put instructions in the script telling the artist to make sure that we focused on her ass shaking from side to side as she ran. But to our fortune, this was drawn by Walt Simonson, a great artist best known for his work on Thor, and he probably ignored any such instructions and just showed her silhouette and a few shots of her readying the time machine, but nothing explicit or fan-servicey. Skynet decides that since the woman knows about the time machine, then it's time to stop being careful and just blow the hell out of the place. Unfortunately, it's too late and the woman escapes into the past before the time machine can be destroyed. Too late. Clever things. This was to be the last battle, and she was the last soldier. And now she has made it a whole new war. And I'm grinning about that for some reason. Yeah, it's kind of a design flaw in us Terminators. And then a splash page of the woman curled up into a ball, copied and pasted about 15 times. Well, it's not really fan-servicey, but it is weird. When I just glanced at the page without looking too closely at it, I thought the entire page was covered in eyeballs. It's a creepy page with her head repeating over and over in a tesseract, that changes her into a black woman for a bit before making her Caucasian again. Time travel is weird. Remember how in Spawn/Batman we couldn't differentiate when Batman was narrating and when it was just the omniscient narrator? Yeah, that's happening again. The white narrative captions up until now were just for Skynet, but now it's for the narrator. Unless Skynet is the narrator, in which case that artificial intelligence is more messed up than I thought it was. Back before the junk took over, before a defense system gained consciousness and unleashed its nuclear might, laying waste to a world of life. It took one look at the fact that 3 Alvin and the Chipmunks live-action movies existed and decided, yeah, this civilization deserves to die. To a happier time, a quieter time. Crazy broad! You crazy broad! Naked Friday doesn't stop for another 3 hours! By the way, 10 pages in and our main character hasn't gotten a name yet I know what her ass looks like. Asks the driver what year it is. The man, a taxi cab driver, is less confused about the presence of a naked woman than the fact that she was in front of his car. Yeah, this is the year I stopped letting you drug addicts give me a heart attack with your dumb tricks, making your clothes disappear like that. I won't be fooled by that trick for the 5th time. Do something about it. I think you missed the determiner there, dude. This year you intend to do something about it. And he does it again, too. Yeah, this citizen stands up for his rights. He then proceeds to pull out a very silly-looking gun. Hey, dude, you got enough scopes on that thing? I think there's still room on the sides of the quote-unquote barrel of the gun to fit a few more. Other citizens in the street decide to pull out guns for legitimate reasons like, I've had a rotten day. The situation is confused by the naked woman kicking the taxi driver, taking his gun, and threatening the people to knock it off. They do so and walk away. People pulling guns on each other. Crazy. No, I'm sorry, but the fact that you're completely nude and nobody seems to mind is still crazier to me than everybody having a gun. The woman steals the cab and some clothes, and she finds the only listing for Alex Murphy in the phone book and heads for some suburbs. A quiet place that greets her with the sight of trees and 1,000 pleasant smells. She waits. A bird calls out. Then another. Soon as a chorus. It takes her a full minute to recognize the sound for what it is. And she cries. Why? Why are the birds singing my hymns? seen her looking at the birds and then silently sobbing or something. She spots a police car pull up to Murphy's house, and she suspects that it's Alex Murphy himself, so she takes out the gun and closes in. However, as she moves in, she overhears a conversation between the officer who went in and the woman inside, named Ellen. Of course, in the RoboCop universe, soundproofing must absolutely suck, since otherwise how is she hearing all this? Anyway, what she hears is that Alex is dead, and she realizes that she's too late, that he's already become RoboCop. Which makes me scratch my head. In the first RoboCop movie, it seemed pretty clear that Murphy's widow had long since moved out of her place with their son before he became RoboCop. So why is his name still in the phone book and still listed along with her for the address? Also, why is future lady wearing that thing on her head?
If I wear it anywhere else, it cheaps.
She realized this was against RoboCop, so 1 minute later, she sold off the cab driver's stash. What, was the taxi driver a drug dealer too? How dramatically convenient. And bought a bunch of components that will hopefully build her a plasma rifle. However, as she sits in an alleyway assembling it, what should come along but Ed 209? Or some variant of it, I don't know. I haven't seen RoboCop 2 or 3 yet.
You are in violation of Street Cleaning Ordinance 66B. Street Cleaning Ordinance 66B. Plasma rifles must be constructed in hotel rooms or diaper changing stations.
She slides between his legs.
Alert! Felon between unit's legs. Adjusting. Alert! Maybe I should just do it instead of stating it out loud. Alert! Felon behind unit. Adjusting. Alert! Gyro dysfunction. Adjusting. Alert! I was really not designed well for this job, was I?
The robot walks off, heading towards the police station. So many magazines they sell in this time. Almost none are concerned with survival, fashion, sports, sex, self-awareness, better bride, National Geographic. These people make me sick. One magazine shows what Murphy was turned into and where he is maintained. Damn you, popular mechanics! Station and bumps into a cop on his way out. Naturally, there's no security here, and she just pickpockets his ID card that lets her deeper into the place. She finds Dr. Marie Lazarus from RoboCop 3 dictating to herself that Murphy refuses to come back in for repairs and sleep and has been on the job for 69 hours straight. The woman comes in and knocks her out, figuring that they must have a way to track RoboCop, and quickly finds RoboCop's tracking device. We cut to Cass Corridor. Bad neighborhood. People on the streets are carrying automatic weapons. Please give me your criteria for a good neighborhood. In the basement of some building, a gang of thugs have kidnapped a woman and tied her to a chair. Nobody knows we got you but your rich husband, and he's too smart to call the cops. And even if he does, they almost never show up in the corridor. But don't worry, we get the ransom and you'll be fine. You believe me, don't you? I mean, just look at my haircut and my smile. This is the look of a man who's trustworthy. Boys, when a wall suddenly explodes out. My God, it's Robo Kool-Aid Man! It's open fire, but to no avail. The lead thug puts his gun to the hostage's ear, but in true gory RoboCop fashion, he shoots the lead thug and all the rest, and globules of red paint blast out where he targets. RoboCop, victorious, stands over the bodies of the dead on a splash page.
You have the right to remain silent. We can use that against you too.
Oh, God bless you. I thought they were going to kill me. I'm covered in this guy's blood and entrails, but God bless you. Thank you. I got money. I mean, if you need any parts or anything. But RoboCop takes her hand off of him and walks away. I'm sorry,
Don't touch the chrome, lady. You'll get fingerprints on it.
You know, 50 stories up where a madman has strapped bombs to himself. That's right, I got nothing to lose. Not since I got fired off my job for no reason at all. I make a few pipe bombs in my cubicle and suddenly I'm a dangerous psychotic. I'm a dangerous psychotic now. seconds for him to explode, giving RoboCop the chance to grab him by the shirt and throw him out into the sky, exploding harmlessly in the air, and making a completely badass panel of the explosion behind him and the light reflecting off of his metal while his face is in shadow. Pure awesome. RoboCop, Crime Prevention Unit, Detroit Police Department, part-time pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. RoboCop has his emo moments too as he walks out into the rain. Rain falls, driving the humans to shelter. Striking his helmet, his chest, he listens to it. Great, and I just got polished and waxed. It seems so far away as a woman's touch, far away as everything, except the call of duty. Wait, my shift has been over for an hour. Time to go home and watch House. A woman's plasma rifle, and the brain of Alex Murphy is glassed into atoms. Oh geez, there go the piano lessons. Crap, now I can't remember how to dance the robot. She got her information wrong and RoboCop wasn't what caused the machine apocalypse, but it seems they were serious since we cut to the future and everything is altering. Calamity, shockwaves through the time stream. A new Matrix is forming a new future. Matrix re-uploaded. This time it's Terminators. Keyboard, tossing off steel and circuitry. Wait, in the machine apocalypse they made robot trees? The air is filled with sunshine and a stench of pollen and the call of furry things, drooling, belching, living things. Oh, Frank, you always know how to paint a picture. The Terminator universe operates under a sound of thunder rules of time travel. Since this stuff isn't just erased, the machines start falling apart as forests rise and stuff. Realizing what's going on, Skynet quickly deploys 3 Terminators and sends them back in time to a basketball game. Maybe RoboCop's death actually changed the course of the basketball game, and that's how Skynet took over. Arrival, no shortage of weapons, no shortage of clothes, sufficient time to prevent disruption. Also, T-800s come in mini-me sizes now, I guess. Is that and a slight craziness? The narration captions about the rain and the Call of Duty repeat themselves, only now a car pulls up in front of RoboCop and the Terminator opens fire at the woman, blasting her in the chest. RoboCop, quick to respond, shoots at the Terminator as it drives off. However, he does get a close-up on the Terminator's face, seeing the robotic eye under the skin. And so our comic ends with RoboCop starting to pick up the woman, because that's always the smartest thing to do to someone who has been shot. Wait, I stand corrected. She hasn't been shot, she just has raspberry jam all over her. You are injured. Lie still. Lie still so I can shake you around. It was you. The whole world died because of you. Who could have known that the next prime directive was destroy the world? This comic is not that bad at all. It's not exactly what I would call good, nor is it Frank Miller's best work. It still has plot problems and writing problems, but at the same time, there isn't a lot of Miller's usual antics on display here, and that's probably because this was made in 1992. He hadn't quite lost his mind yet. Instead, while the story is heavily entrenched in the Terminator side of things at the beginning, the RoboCop stuff is enjoyable for what it is, and there isn't anything on display that's offensive or anger-inducing, though I kind of roll my eyes at the idea of RoboCop somehow being responsible for the machine apocalypse, even indirectly. Bottom line, if you wanted to see an example of Miller and why he was considered a good writer at one point, this is not a bad example of his better work. So we have 10 minutes. So we'll spend the rest of the time doing Q&A. That works for you guys?